There's no one in channel just yet. I'll go ahead and give it a minute or so. Talk about a couple things in here. Looks like I got a couple viewers that are showing up. That's good. Tonight we're going to be talking, I think I'm going to put all the news up front, and then we'll do a deck doctor, and then we will actually pull up the deck in the client and play some hex, and that's how we will complete this night out tonight. I'm not sure how long I'm going to be online. I try to shoot for about an hour typically, so hopefully that's what's going to happen here. So starting off, we'll just go ahead and jump right in here. Some of the interesting things from the week as we were downloading our clients. First thing, I'll just pull up a kind of a funny thing on the Reddit forums. So everyone was streaming their clients. It was kind of funny to see how it is that everyone, including myself, was streaming the client. I basically set it up so that way if people wanted a place where they could like kind of get hyped and like chat about hex, you know, they could come to my channel and do that. I mean, I guess that's kind of corny, but that is something that I decided to do. It was difficult to say exactly how long the client was going to take to download. At first I thought I was going to be able to play at midnight maybe, or 11 o'clock, and as I was gauging the time it was taking to do the download, it looked like it was going to take another 4 hours past 11 at least. And actually when I woke up at 5 a.m. like I told people, as you can see it says I'm sleeping but I'll be back at 5 a.m. That's where I gauged it. It was still downloading. It still needed another 10%, which was a lot to which is a lot considering the time span and all that stuff. It didn't help that some people had leaked the client earlier, and that people had everyone was trying to download it all at once, and a lot of other sites were doing the same thing. And the funny thing is that people were actually jumping in channels. I guess that was the funniest part about that. So that was that, and then I'm going to look at some of the other forum things that I've noticed, some of the trends. And I do mostly Reddit forums. I don't do as much hex forums. I probably need to get more in there, but that's not really where it is that I typically go as far as my forum trolling time. So there's that article. I saw. Is it mean that I laughed? And that was the Hex TCG Alpha release day 1, watching installer for 8 hours on Twitch, and that's what most everyone was doing. The other one that I saw was that there was a lot of crashes that were happening on day when we finally were able to log in to the client and play the game. Apparently some people that got in like right when they got their emails got right into the game, and it was still having a lot of hang-ups. And typically I would say I was getting to about turn 5 to 8, somewhere in there, and then what would happen is priority would pass on some sort of an action and nothing would transpire beyond that. Here's somebody that made a very long post on the forums, as you can see, where people, I guess, had started doing some complaining. It's difficult for me to know. I did not read through all this wall of text, but this got a lot of attention, and I just thought I might highlight this. And you know, basically, I'm guessing that the gist of this is, hey, come on, people, it's alpha. There's going to be problems. There's going to be bumps in the road. There's going to be crashes all over the place. It's just the way things are. They have to deal with a lot of different people's computers and their different architecture. A lot of problems are going to arise, and that's pretty much what happened. But interestingly enough, this morning, after they did some patching late last night, they were doing some patching. I had 0 crashes this morning, and I got 3 hours of streaming. And in fact, if you go to my YouTube page, as you can see it right here, if you go all the way to the bottom here, if you go to my YouTube page, or actually right up here, I actually have like 6 videos that I pulled from this morning that are high resolution that you can watch me play this morning. The funniest thing was that the whole Hex CCG Pro team was talking about how not viable being able to deck somebody would be, and I've actually been decked twice now since I've started playing random games here and there. Let's just move on to the next portion. I'm going to make sure I have this up. So there's my Twitter. We can pull that down. I don't need my Facebook. Pull that down. So another thing we'll look at real quick here, more news, post-alpha launch update, just a lot of information where it is that they're talking about different things. We have, they also plugged this Chronal. This guy's been streaming probably non-stop, I guess. That's the one it is that they plugged. He has about 100 people in his stream right now. So, go ahead and check him out. I'm sure he seems like a pretty good guy. It's maybe doing some interesting things, maybe doing a lot more Johnny things, possibly. I'm not sure. He was doing a lot of, when I was watching him, he was doing a lot of deck building and that sort of thing. So that's pretty much the news from the day. And then the news before that was that, I'll just go to it real quick. The news before that, of course, was the launch. And so they're just basically talking about the updater. Make sure for everybody that's going to be getting their accounts, don't give your password out to anybody unless they're friends or family, or if you really trust them. It'd be best if you could just simply log in for them and then let them play if you're going to have friends and family play on it at all. Also, nothing, zero tolerance, that type of thing. How do you get into alpha? The other thing with the most current update is it talks about how they're gauging the second wave. I know everybody's excited to get in, and I was lucky to get in at my current tier level. So we'll go ahead and move on to this deck doctor. I had one of the people in Shaggy's stream today post a deck to me. So I will pull it up real quick on TCG Browser and Deck Builder. These guys are doing a wonderful job with their website. They actually have a place where you can now filter just the available cards in alpha. I mean, these guys are really on point as far as keeping up with things. So I'll go ahead and pull this over here, the Nebix deck. So what it looks like he's trying to do here, we'll go ahead and maximize this in the screen. Make this nice and large there. I don't need to... Hey, what's going on, Nebix? All right, good. You're here, so you can see me talk through your deck. So what it looked like you were trying to do was some sort of a flying tempo type of deck. Is that what you were going for? Because that's pretty much what I deck doctored to. You threw some things in this deck that were very... as I was looking at them, I said, well, these are more of control type cards. One of the, like a bomb that you would play at the end of your control string, where you're basically denying your opponent and going card for card with them and getting some sort of card advantage. So like this Storm Colossus, Flight, Spell Shield. Spell Shield makes it untargetable, basically. It's a nice big bomb you can play after it is that you're in an open board state and you've countered everything your opponent has. Right, it's just like hexproof. So now this goes in more of a control-y deck with some sort of sweeps or something. That's where I would see this, not so much in tempo. You're never going to cast it in a tempo deck like this. So this one got pulled right away. Yesterday, put each troop into its owner hand. I've had people play this on me. Actually, in the decks where it is I'm being milled out a lot, this is the deck. This is the card that's being played. This is another tempo-y type of card. Unfortunately, it's tempo-y in the wrong way, because it's going to put your troops into your hand as well as your opponents. It's decent with the, unfortunately he's not in, it shows him as in the rotation right now, and I always forget the guy's name. I'm going to look him up right now and embarrass myself. Let's see, I should be on Sapphire. Yeah, Buccaneer. It shows as him being in right now, but I can guarantee you he is not in just yet. So Buccaneer might help out with that. But for 5, I mean, Counter Magic also is another one that's not in yet that might make it into a deck like this. There's quite a few cards that are going to change the way tempo plays in general. Funny thing is actually this morning I put together a Sapphire tempo deck, so this is going to be very similar to what I've already got loaded, so that should save us some time when we actually go to the client and start playing. And I actually have a YouTube of 2 games and me building the deck from this morning. This very similar deck to what you've got here. Necrotic Merchant, another one with Spell Shield. So the big thing I have with Spell Shield is I'm not sure right now if it's completely untargetable or if it's just untargetable by your opponent, like the Hexproof in Magic. I'm thinking that it's probably more akin to the hexproof, because the thing about being untargetable, like with a spell shield, if it's untargetable by me, that means I can't do things like, I know there's no equipment right now, but if there were, I couldn't equip it. I couldn't equip it with any equipment because it's untargetable by everybody. I couldn't buff it with something if I needed to, like bounce it, or if I needed to give it like some sort of like +X card or something like that. I'm thinking the spell shield, the keyword term is most likely more of my opponent can't target it, but I can. So, but again, this type of card I'm seeing more as something in a deck where we're going to want to buff him. So I actually pulled this guy as well, the Necrotic Merchant. I didn't feel like he was very tempo-y. I also changed the champion out, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in depth. But the thing is, there's a pretty easy way to get most of the quality cards you want in this deck to be flying anyways, and there's not a great blue champion. I mean, you could still play this guy with the deck that I have put together, that I spent some time on, but the I don't know, it's really debatable. I basically went with the dwarf that at 6 he draws you a card. Now that's really doesn't do you a whole lot, but I'd still rather draw a card than just give random things flight when most of them are going to have flight in the iteration that I'm going to show you. So, I mean, this isn't a bad card, but for tempo, we really want to be able to have evasion. So some sort of flight or evasion, and we want to have some sort of, something that's cheap. So he has the cheap side of it, but he's not really, as far as like, he doesn't give us a lot of damage for the cost either. So he's just going to get chump blocked, is typically what's going to happen. Debate as far as what. I also have Ventrilo information, and I can have you jump in with me, and you can actually discuss with me if you like. We're the only people in the channel anyway, so this is recorded, and I'm going to go ahead and stream it out. So if you don't feel comfortable with people hearing your voice, that's fine. But so I'm going to go ahead and move on. If you want to go on, they debated the Necrotic Merchant. Yeah, I don't like him for some sort of tempo deck, because he doesn't have any type of flying. So moving on to this Mimic, I mean, it's doable. I think I ultimately pulled him because I wanted to have more bodies, more definite bodies, and there's no guarantees that you're going to be able to mimic something that's decent. Mimic, again, is another card, just like the Storm Colossus, that I'd like to see in a proper control deck, where it is that, oh, my opponent played this really big card, well, I'll just counter it by playing this. Or my opponent played this unique card, and I'm going to counter it by playing this Mimic and copying it. Sapphire versus the Coyote. Right, okay, so they were debating that version. Yeah, I mean, it's really, we don't have an amazing champion for Sapphire, to be honest with you, right now. That's going to be great for a deck that's not dwarves right now, realistically, that I'm seeing. Some sort of dwarfy deck that's going to try to build some sort of machination or something like that. Eldritch Dream is ridiculous. He is, like Shaggy was saying earlier, he's most likely going to get nerfed. Very, very likely he's going to get nerfed. Actually, I'll make these cards a little bit bigger for you. So I'm seeing him, and 3/3 that can't be blocked, and we can socket him, and then when he can't be blocked, he can come through. And let's look at some of the things we could throw on here. So if we just stay with the mono diamond, we have, what is this? It says socket. Is this it's a major socket. So we have all of the not diamond, sorry. I keep making the mistakes. I'm not going to make the mistakes. I keep looking at it better. Okay, so Sapphire, we're playing Sapphire. Again, we have to have the resource in play to have it activated. At least one. So we've got the 2 major Sapphires. So when this troop enters play, draw a card. Okay, not, I mean, it's we get a lot of cantrips in here anyway, so that's decent. When this troop enters play, opposing troop gets permanent -X front end, where this X equals this troop's attack. So -3 from some troops front end. That's decent too, I guess. The miners are, I think, okay, so just give it flight straight up. So again, we could just give it flight. And then the other one is we could play as a quick action. Now that actually, if you did not want to go into another color, I might actually go with the quick action, because I always like to look like to my opponent, especially if we have some sort of counter magic. I always like to have them do things into open resources and open mana, so it is that it looks like I can react in some way, and that way I can play this guy at the end of turn and still it puts me at a good puts me in a good position as far as the Sapphire player. You always typically want to play things on your opponent's turn, typically at the end of their turn, so that way it makes it look like you have something you can do in response. The other ones that they had talked about on the live stream, I believe, was the going into Ruby. Yeah, so when this troop deals damage that champion to a champion, that champion loses a resource point. Ridiculous. He's unblockable, so they have to have some sort of removal, and we all know that removal is at a very much a premium, and 3 toughness right now is really good because we've got the removal in Ruby is not very, it doesn't have a lot of damage output. We don't have a lightning bolt yet. We don't have a something that costs 1 that deals 3 damage outright. We don't have anything like that. So a lot of the removal in Ruby is not that great. We of course have the blood removal, which just kills everything. And of course you have the removal in Diamond. You have the passivism effect where you won't be able to attack anymore, and that will basically nullify him. So then he becomes a null. Not really that much of a problem, but again, if this guy gets a swing for just 1 turn, that's could be pretty detrimental for your opponent. Some sort of with resource denial. And then of course they also talked about using the stone rain, the new stone rain, which is destroy a resource point. So this guy is a definite 4 of in any tempo deck, in my opinion, especially because he's in that 4-point range. He's right at the top of your curve. Possibly you might go with 1 5-point card above him, and when I'm saying points, I'm talking about the converted cost or just the straight up cost here. So they're running the card that destroys all resources. Right. I mean, if that card exists at some point in time. Ancestors Chosen was pretty ridiculous for me this morning, so he's an automatic 4 of, so that was a pretty good choice there. This card basically is going to be another one where it's the removals at a premium right now again. So red has a decently easy time removing him, and they have to. But you're typically not going to be attacking with him or blocking with him. You're going to use him as some sort of an enchantment-ish effect that's going to sit on the board and just throw these ancestral specters into your deck, and then when you draw them you get a 2/2 flyer that cantrips you into another card. I mean, amazing. And that on top of having Sapphire, or not Sapphire aura, but the other one, on top of having air superiority. Now I had 3/3 dudes that cost 1 resource. I mean, it was ridiculous this morning with that guy. The Sapphire Aura, this is another one where I feel like I'd rather have more of an actual body, because again, if I use this on a troop and then my opponent kills a troop, that's a 2-for-1 in my opponent's favor, so that's really not a good place to be. Flock of Seagulls is maybe more of a control-y card again, viable. I really didn't like it at all, especially for tempo. Tempo, we really want to keep our opponent on the back foot. We really want to push through damage, and this guy doesn't do it at all because he's defensive. So we really don't need him at all in this deck, so he gets pulled completely. Cloud Titan is decent. I actually played with a Cloud Titan this morning, but as I was looking through some things, I actually made some changes, and it's funny that I should say this, but I actually play the Gralk, Singleton Gralk, because I was going to play, I'm forgetting what it's called right now. I was going to play tap all your opponent's stuff down, and where is it called? This is why I don't have Storm Call. So I was going to play Storm Call, which just says exhaust target troops. Okay, and so that's pretty good as far as tempo, because if I have like 4 guys in play and my opponent's at like 8 or something, and I can tap all their stuff down, they have no blockers, I just swing in, win, good, right? Well, typically, how much am I going to be casting Storm Call for value? 4, 3, not 3, probably 4 or 5. So for that cost, for value, I can still play Menacing Gralk and tap my opponent's team down no matter how big they are, and I don't have to worry about the amount of stuff. Now I believe that someone said that there's a bug with this guy right now, whereas if he attacks, hey, what's going on, Technify? When you do play him, he's going to end up bugging your opponent's stuff out so they'll never untap. So I'm not sure if I'm going to play him tonight or not, because I know I'm aware of the bug, and that could be pretty cheesy for me to do to somebody, and I think I may not put him in the deck, but I do feel like he's a decent one of at the top of our curve. We can play him, and we're really not necessarily playing. He is a body as well compared to the other effect, but he's going to do exactly what the other effect is and give us a body on the following turn if our opponent somehow survives. Okay, well, yeah, I can try it, but if he bugs my opponent out, I'm going to have to apologize for sure on that one. Let's go back to the deck that you created, Mr. Nebex. I get everybody's name messed up, but that's fine because I get my name butchered too, my real name. So, Oracle Song I felt like is a pretty good choice for any Sapphire deck. It's card drawing. Unfortunately, it's basic action. It's not quick action, so you can't do it at the end of your opponent's turn. So I went down to a 2 of because I felt like that was good. It's going to draw me more gas, more stuff. Nebex. Okay. No. Oh. No Nibex. No Nibe. Okay. So with Oracle Song, it is what it is. I mean, it's a basic card drawing mechanism. The biggest thing is that I look at when I'm looking at card drawing is if it just draws me one card, that's a cantrip, so I'm basically throwing away a card to get a card. Whereas with this, I'm getting more card advantage because I'm throwing away one card to get 2. So I come out ahead plus 1 card. Whatever. Let me see if I can get this right. So it's Nebex, right? Tell me if I'm getting it wrong. Let me know if I'm getting it wrong. Moving on to Air Superiority. I'm sorry if I got your name wrong. A 4 of, automatic 4 of in this deck, obviously. I'm sorry, Nebex. Oh, Nibex. Maybe he wants me to say Nibex. Nibex? I can't tell. Somebody in the channel slap me. So Air Superiority, also for the cost, it's a very nice Anthem effect. An Anthem being something that gives everything +1/+1. This only gives it to things with with +1 with flying only. So we're going to want to play the flying. So let's go to the change of the decks that I made. So we'll go to the deck. So here's the one where I changed it around. Obviously we talked about the change that I made where I went with the dwarf that draws me a card. I actually drew a card off of this guy today. It was pretty crazy. I didn't think I would get to that point in the game. So here's some of the additions that I made. I made Mesmerize. Mesmerize is basically, this is our removal for Sapphire right now. This is it. This is pretty decent premium removal. It's a basic action. It's going to make it so it is that your opponent gets one more attack with something, and then after that they're going to be tapped down indefinitely unless there's something that they can use to untap their dude or unexhaust them. I guess that's the terminology we're using in Hex. So Mesmerize, pretty good. Definite 4 of, I'd say, in any Sapphire deck as it is removal for us. Eldritch Dream, we talked about this guy, really, really big. Right, they can revert them also. Well, they can revert them, but it says it can't ready. So that means even if I had something that said ready target card, it says it can't ready. So in that case, it couldn't. You're right. Absolutely right. Moving on, I put a single Phoenix Guard trainer in here. In this, again, so we had that champion that could give things flying, but this Phoenix Guard trainer actually does the same effect for everything that's on the ground in the deck right now anyways. That's important. Like Ancestors Chosen, I could care less if this guy's flying, but Flying Buccaneer seems pretty good. A Flying Wizard seems pretty good. In fact, I played against a computer player against the AI and got blown out because they had this guy and they played 2 of this guy, and it was ridiculous, and I was severely embarrassed in front of my stream. Again, we talked about Menacing Grulk. So, I mean, you don't really have to play this guy. You might play a 2 of. There's going to be better things, most likely. Time Ripple, I played 3 of. This is another tempo card that's really excellent tempo is really, really good because it's going to push things possibly into a range where your opponent doesn't have the resources to play them. Because like if they just got there and then you bounce it, next time they have to play it for +1, well, they can't play it until they draw that next resource. So excellent, excellent bounce card. It's really what I want to see. I used to look at cards like, I'm trying to remember what the card is called in Magic. It was like 2 blue, bounce target creature, target permanent. But I always used to look at that and I was like, well, my opponent will just cast that in the next turn. And that was when I didn't understand tempo and how it is that that can affect a game. And when we're playing with these small little creatures, pushing through damage is pretty important. So Time Ripple again, and again is a quick action, so he can do a lot of things for us. A Boomerang, there you go. Excellent. Thank you very much, Docile Dylan. Boomerang has been around forever, I know, right? Ancestors Chosen, again, ridiculous. Gives us those can-tripping Ancestral Specters that look like this. Pretty nice art on those as well. Unfortunately, Buccaneer isn't in, but he would definitely go in this deck. Yeah, I've played Magic since 5th edition. That's when I started. Wizard of the Silver Talon is also very good. Oracle Song we went down to 2 of, and then of course our Thunderbirds. You got to play those. You know, it's what I should have named the deck was Thunderbird Ho. Oh, okay. So yeah, you started a little bit before I did. I was like in what was that 3rd edition or 4th edition? Ice Age came out. I can't remember. So that is pretty much the deck. So we'll go ahead. I actually already have my client up, so we'll go ahead and pull that up, and we can move right into actually playing this deck now. Actually, let me go ahead and hit my F11 there. I'm going to go and X this out. Pull up the client, and then I need to swap my views around so you can actually see what I'm doing. Okay, so we're going to go and actually has his own version of the blue deck, or of what? Oh, of Shagibus? Or I know about Shagibus. I'm not gonna confirm nor deny that he used my account. So let's see. So I think I called it High Flyers. That's what I called it. So I'm going to keep the music down and completely off because although I will miss out on my cues, I do like having those sound cues, but I'll go ahead and leave them off right now. So actually, I probably need to pull Renlock. He probably doesn't actually do very much for this deck. I'm going to pull him out. The other thing is doing things in here is it's a little bit more difficult. The Cloud Titan definitely needs to come out. Yeah, the Stormcaller needs to come out. Mutate. That's another one. I probably pulled that one right now. Eldritch Stream, we talked about that. All this rest of this stuff looks decent. Stormcall, we're going to swap that for whatever it's called, for Menacing Grolk. Oh, I'm in the wrong. That's Blood. That's not Sapphire. Also, I'm at 24 lands instead of 23. We are building a tempo blue, mono blue deck for Nevex. He gave me a deck today, and I deck doctored it just now, and we are going to go ahead and press forward with this. So we're going to go ahead and play a one of Grolk at the top of our range. I'll probably throw another Time Ripple in, that's fine. I need 4 more cards. Nope, that's it. Okay. Yeah, the mill deck. Okay, so if you watch, I have some YouTube videos. I got milled out twice this morning. So if the very first one, the Shin Hair one, I can guarantee you I got milled out. I actually got milled out by one of the devs was playing a deck where he played, I forget what the name of the card is, but basically it pulls all the resources out of your deck if you want it to. And so he did that. He went down to a library that was the size of 10 cards, and then he basically, all he drew was the mill card, and he just milled me out. Yeah, it was exciting to watch, really. Whenever you're using mill. No, I was using Shinhair. He was not playing Shinhair. He was just playing mill. He was playing, I believe it had to have been Sapphire Blood, I believe. I believe it was Sapphire Blood. Yeah, because he used the one that put all my stuff back into my hand. He used, I forget what it's called. I could play that booby trap card. That might be interesting. Some of the cards I'm supposed to have 4 of, I don't. Like this card, the Phoenix Trainer. I would play more Phoenix Trainers if I have them, but I don't have them. And I'm supposed to have 4 of every card, but some people are saying that there's a bug or something. Yeah, there's that Chronic Madness. That's escalates and it's double every time. So the first time it's 3, the next time it's 6, etc., etc., etc. This isn't bad if I had access to Buccaneer. I could play this guy. I could play like a 1 of this guy. What really needs to happen is I really need these 4 cards need to be 4 Buccaneers. That's what really needs to happen. The monkey. Try the monkey. Which one is the monkey? Do we have a name for the monkey? The monkey. Mufasa. Ooh. The monkey. Monkey of 9 tails. I'm looking for him. I'm actually, you know what? Here's what we'll do. If he's actually called Monkey of 9 Tails, I'll be able to find him here. Oh, he's a useless Coyote. That doesn't give me a lot of good fuzzy feelings. There it is. Monkey of 9 Tails. Yeah, so this guy isn't on curve for us. This Monkey of 9 Tails. Once your player plays, you may revert and transform. What's this guy? You may revert and transform another target troop into Monkey of 9 Tails. Yeah, I'm not playing that guy. I mean, if you really want... Okay, if you really want me to... I'll play the Monkey of 9 Tails. But I guess in 24 resources, there's a decent chance. But it's really gonna hurt our curve a lot. So there's a very good chance we're gonna draw like 3 Monkey of 9 Tails in our opening hand, and then we're gonna have to maul. It's bad enough we're playing a singleton Menacing Gralk. Let's see here. We gotta find something. There's gotta be something we can play that's gonna be decent. I might end up having to play this Sapphire Aura. Is it a quick action? It's a quick action, so it's a combat trick, which is kind of nice, I guess. I almost feel like playing the artifact guy. I almost feel like playing this charge bot. I might actually just play him, because that shouldn't hurt us at all, really, and that'll help me draw more cards, maybe. That guy just doesn't do anything for me without Buccaneer. We really need the Buccaneer. Everyone phone your congressman and then tell them to call Cryptozoic and tell them we need Buccaneer in the game. What was this guy's? That's the guy you wanted to play. So between the two, what is this? No. That's a 2/2 flyer, I guess. I wish I just had more of this guy. I can play more of this guy right now, and he helps. I'm going to save this deck, so... You'll notice when I save that the whole thing kind of resets. Well, that was pretty quick, actually. I'm guessing it's not even going to show up. I wonder if I go to the list if it'll show up. I'm looking for Phoenix Guard. Yeah, it's not there. Terabot is. Mimics or Logan? Well, we can play a Mimic. Yeah, we'll play a Mimic. This is kind of a bugged card right now. We'll play the 2 Mimics and we'll play 2 Charge Bots, I guess. That's fine. We'll save the deck off. And we'll go ahead and see if we can pick up a match. So using Channel. Someone random. Sanct. I've played against Sanct quite a few times. Sometimes people are just camping in here lately, so you can't necessarily just challenge people. And then if you hit the Find Opponent button, sometimes it'll just kind of like this. The thing will show up, but if other people aren't trying to do it, it might not work, etc. Yeah, but it pings my opponent and me. That's the problem with the Warbot. I might try to turn up the sound a little bit after this one. I'm the aggro deck, I suppose. Okay, so we drew 2, and then that. This is not looking good for us. I feel like mulling this. In fact, I think that I will. Mostly because we don't have a 1-drop. We got 2 resources, which is kind of not that great. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and draw again. Already amazingly better with this guy. That Chosen. Not too amazing with that guy, but that's fine. We'll keep this. We'll see if he has an answer for our Ancestors Chosen. Another thing you need to think about is because Ancestors Chosen, I actually had more than 60 cards in my deck this morning because Ancestors Chosen, I had like 2 or 3 in play and they kept throwing so much stuff in the deck. It was ridiculous. Apparently my sounds are still working even though I have my main sound turned all the way off. At least it's not ridiculously loud. So I guess I can turn the music back on if you guys want to hear that after this. Some of the music in game. If you guys are into that. Oh, so he passed priority, so I already get thing on the stack. Looks like he's playing the Coyote. He might actually be playing also the other side of this deck. He just didn't get his draw, I guess. So looks like I'm swinging in. Again, I haven't really gotten used to the dial, looking at the dial, so a lot of times I'll look at the top of the screen more often than not. Swinging in, doing our 1 point of damage. Getting beastie. It'd be nice not to draw another resource and get flooded. I suppose if I do get flooded, though, I can draw another card, which could be another resource. Okay. Got 2 resources, something big. Oh, Thunderbird, and I have no answer for it. This doesn't look like my game right now. No real good answer for that Thunderbird. Okay. Yeah, really no. Well, actually, you know, I will. It's debatable. Do I want my Ancestors Chosen? I think I want my Ancestors Chosen more than he wants his Thunderbird, so I prefer not to attack, actually. I don't think I want to push damage. I prefer not to make that trade. I don't think that he would, but I'd rather just keep pumping guys into the deck because that's more of a chance to get some sort of flyer in play. It really makes me wonder when they're inserting cards into the deck. I don't think he would either, but at the same time, I'd prefer not to even chance it. Oh, there you go. Oh, there's what I should have played, Command Tower. That makes sense to me. Yeah, you know what? When we go back to the deck, we'll put 4 Command Tower in. And that should be fine. Swing for 3, that seems pretty good. Yep, that's that Rage 1. The nice part about Thunderbird, the things that makes him somewhat balanced is his back end is so tiny that it's going to be easy to chump him off and just trade something once I get a flyer, hopefully, if that ever happens. Most likely I've got Eldritch Dream coming down the next turn. Yep, just keep throwing dudes in the deck. I wonder if it shuffles the deck every time, or if it just puts them in specific locations, or how it's putting the cards into the deck. I really do kind of wonder. Prep phase. So there's no reason to play the Oracle Song right now. I'd rather play the Eldritch Dream, but I will go ahead and do my attack phase first. And I will play my Eldritch Dream in the second main phase. I have to be careful about this because I've skipped my second main phase multiple times this morning. Okay, second main phase. Love the second main phase. Who doesn't, though, right? Does everyone know why we play creatures, or why we play stuff, our creatures or our troops in the second main phase? Does anyone have any questions about that? Why that's preferable to do if possible? Because I can go through that again. It took me a while to understand it as well when I was new to Magic. So he can give something flying, but again, like, it's not really doing him very much right now, you know? Their superiority seems pretty good. He's going to have a 5/1 flyer. His aggro is looking pretty good, I must say. So the reason why we play creatures in our second main phase is to make it look like at least that we can do things during our combat step. So if you can, the only reason why you want to play creatures during your first main phase, I'm sorry about the crying in the background, by the way. I don't have any blockers. The reason why we would play something during our first main phase is if it's going to buff something for combat, if it's going to affect combat. Otherwise, we want to play things during our second main phase. Get used to doing it. Anyway, I should probably make sure I have this up. Oh, another Thunderbird. This might be it. That might be it, playing the second Thunderbird with no blockers for me. Another Ancestors Chosen. I really need to like start drawing some of these Ancestors Chosens. I really need to start drawing them. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. See, I just had to ask it to show up. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry about the children in the background. They're screaming. Alright, so we'll go ahead and play this during our first main phase, although that probably wasn't necessary. I kind of want to see what the next card is. That's why I'm playing him now. And then I've got this guy. So I can actually save my resources and play that during combat, during his next combat step. I'll play it on his Thunderbird here and bounce it. So we go to our attack step. Swing in with just this guy because we want to keep putting those Ancestors Chosens in our deck. You can't block this guy. In fact, what I probably will do is I will block his Thunderbird, his bigger Thunderbird, and then bounce the other one. But I have the bounce in response in case he has some sort of a combat trick. So I can still save my guy if there ends up being some sort of a bad situation there. So end turn. Now it's his turn. He's got 3 cards in hand. I've got 3 cards in hand. Alright, looks like they calmed down for everybody. Oh man, another command tower. Chaos Key seems pretty good. So, pass priority, declare attack. Is he going to attack in? Yep, he will. They'll both get bigger. And so I'll go to blockers here. It's still attack priority. Still attack priority. Declare defense. Block the bigger one. And then I'll say block. And then we'll go to second. And then I'm going to bounce the other guy. Accept. See if he has a response for that. No response there. Trades these here. And that puts me at pretty good board state right now. As you can tell, he's got 3 buffs up and no creatures, and so these buffs are dead cards for him right now. So I feel like that puts me at pretty good board state. And yeah, also his second main phase, he had spent all his stuff, so he can't do it. I can bounce him again. That's awesome. And make him even more expensive. So I will actually go ahead and go attack step here. Go ahead and attack in. Defense priority. I'm really watching it because I've skipped my main phase so many times. Oh my gosh. That is probably one of the more frustrating things. So you go back and forth about talking about what's better, playing in real life and playing online and stuff. Well, online there's really no going back once you take an action, whereas in real life it should be that way. And a lot of times, I'm going to play my Eldritch Dream here because there's no I can bounce his guy during his combat step anyways. And this just puts him at basically a 2-turn clock here. But you can also do things in real life where it is that you're kind of explaining what you're trying to do with people. The other problem with that, though, is that sometimes miscommunications occur, and that's when judges have to get involved, and what did this person really mean, what actually happened. All that stuff is avoided by playing a digital game, even though you can make misclicks and mistakes. Yeah, it's really late for him for his ancestors chosen to show up here. Oh, another one. Still, I've got unblockable cards, so it's decent for me. And he's going to give that one flying. Okay. So I'm definitely rippling that guy. So he gave he gave a guy flying, so I'll give him props for that. Prep phase. Let's see what we draw here. There we go. So I kind of still want to see what that next card is. So I still have a lot of open resources if I cast this guy, so I'm going to go ahead and cast him before combat so I can see what my next card is. Okay, there's that, and actually I can now use my charge power and draw another card, ripping in air superiority. And I can play that. I'll play that in my second main phase most likely. I'll consider it. So I'll go to combat here. Swing in with my 2 guys. I'll keep this guy back to block off his chosen if he decides to swing in with them for some reason. You can't block these guys because they can't be blocked. Can Oracle Song and still have Ripple mana up now? No, because Ripple costs 3. I've got 5 left, and I can't do that, unfortunately. Oh, I hope we're not hung up. I'm going to combat here. He might be trying to do something before I go to combat. Let's see. Oh, his timer's running, so it's on him. It's his priority. Yeah, I mean, he's in a bad position, definitely. I mean, he's got no cards in hand. He's played out his whole hand. Okay, so this is the crash, some of the crashes that were happening earlier the other day. So I'm going to go ahead and progress on to the next game. Actually, you know, we're going to fix the deck. We're going to put, I don't know if I'm going to put three or four of those in there. I think I might put 2 command towers. That feels right to me for this deck. I don't think I would like to have too many Anthem effects. If I run 8 Anthem effects, oh, I guess someone's challenging me. I'm going to decline for a second here so I can go back to my card manager. So we just want to have artifacts. Turn all these off. Okay. So I'm going to put 2 of these in. And we need to dump some things. So most likely... Not sure if I want to get rid of the charge bots over... What was the other one we had that I put 2 of? This Mimic. Yeah, I think I want to get rid of Mimic more than I want to get rid of Chargebot as aggro. Because it's not really a creature. Especially in an open board state, if I have nothing to copy with this, it doesn't do anything. Sapper's Charge for early threats? I could do that. Yeah, I suppose that actually is a pretty good idea. Where is Sapper's Charge? That actually would have helped us out a lot in the last matchup, obviously, with the Thunderbird coming down like it did. Middle row right. Sapper's Charge. There it is. Let's see. Yeah, I think I do like that over the Charge Bot. Because he's not really going to do anything otherwise. I mean, I can't make him fly or do anything else, so Sapper's Charge does seem a little bit better for us. So let's make sure we save it off. So when you're doing this, make sure to always save your deck. And then another thing is if your deck doesn't meet the proper qualifications and you try to use it, it's going to crash your client again. Hey, I think that's a very good idea, and I am always open to ideas. I'm also open to people. I'm not in Ventrilo right now, but if people decide to get... Actually, you know, I'll get in Ventrilo. Just in case someone decides to jump in there with me. But you're welcome to join me in Ventrilo and talk to me as I'm going through these. Most likely I'm going to play like this last game, and then I'm going to be called off. Make sure I get children in the bed and read stories. But I will hopefully get on after children are in bed to play a couple more games tonight, and then maybe tomorrow morning. I'm not sure. It really depends on what's going on with the fam, you know. So... Oh, Shad's going to join me. All right. What's going on, Shad?
What's up, man?
Just chilling here. All right, so we're going to start this matchup. What is a Nebex? What would you like? Do I need to go back to my card manager? Here, I'll go back. He wants me for something. You're probably going to want to turn off my the sound in the whatever it's called thing. In the Twitch TV, Shad. Otherwise you'll get a lot of echo.
Yeah, I just got on that.
Yeah. Okay, you're going to hit the hay around 10:30. Yeah, no worries. A lot of the good stuff I'm going to be porting out to my YouTube channel, so make sure to go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube if you guys wouldn't mind. Again, I have picked up so many subscribers. I am very thankful for a lot of the subscribers that I am picking up. I'm also doing a local recording so I can more easily edit it and then pipe it out to YouTube. Otherwise, I have to basically pull it to YouTube from Twitch and then send it from YouTube back to my computer and then do my editing and then repost it to YouTube, and that's a giant mess. So I've recently started to do a lot more local recording with XSplit, and I have also started paying for my XSplit, which isn't that bad. But just so I make sure I can get some 1080p out to people, you know. The YouTube channel is, if you scroll down, it says check out my YouTube channel. You can click on that, and that is it right there. It's actually youtube.com/Errant Squire. I'm Errant Squire all over the internet. If you Google me, that's what I am. I also have what is it called? Twitter. I just started Twitter, and I've just turned into a Twitter addict. Thank you very much. Again, I thank everybody for subbing and adding me to their basically, subscribing to my channels, both here and on YouTube. I'm not looking to make any money really, but on some of the things I've recently started to do some, what do they call that, monetization, just to try to up the quality of my show. Basically, any money I make, I'll basically take and I'll buy better camera, or I'll be getting nicer video editing equipment. I'm also started working with some other things like, what's it called? I have it right here, Blender. I recently worked with Blender to set up my intro if you watch my YouTubes. Let's see here. This looks pretty bad, so we're going to draw again. This is a pretty bad hand. It's got the mana to play the cards, but it's going to be kind of late, and we want to really be aggro, so we're going to draw that again. Menacing Grolk. We're really paying the price for that Grolk. We have to draw this one again. 24 land, you think it would be okay. Okay, we have to stay on. This is a good one because we got Chosen, and that's not too bad, so this is fine. We'll keep that. Yep. Yeah, we mulled twice, unfortunately, so. But so far, Ancestor's Chosen has been pretty ridiculous. So I recently had a baby as well, and he is the one that's crying now. It was on the 6th.
Congrats on the baby.
Oh, thank you very much.
Been a long time since I had one in the house.
Yeah, well, one day I'll be there as well. So he's cantripping with this guy. Sensei. I keep trying to play, what is it called, ramp, because I like playing ramp decks, and I don't feel like there's good enough cards to ramp into right now. Especially, I really wanted to play that Beetle. The Beetle's good, but you need to have that gem to make him really good. Yeah, the baby does want to play Hex. I think you're right about that. Prep phase, get my Chosen to throw some, or rather to throw some Ancestral Specters into the deck. It is nice because the longer this guy's in play, the more spells I'm going to draw. I have no plays this turn. I'm not going to attack into that, so it looks like a pass turn, because that would be a definite block off for him. I wonder if he's playing any type of ramp. Right now, the gems are not active. Things are very, very simplified. A lot of the things that are instant speed are not available. Oh, he's playing straight up Shinhair aggro. Okay. Well, this should be an interesting matchup. Aggro v aggro. I should be a little bit quicker. It feels like Shinhair aggro is kind of one of those where it's like it builds up an army, and then all of a sudden they all like get muscly, and then they just start swinging in. It's not like they start swinging right away like Kithkin used to. If anybody used to play Kithkin, it's one of my favorites, my personal favorites. nothing really good to play this against right now. So I'm just going to hold it. I can, and it's a basic action, unfortunately. So I'm just going to sit here. We're sitting at a standstill, really. It's kind of sad, but it's true. When this guy hits the board, though, it's going to get ridiculous. Because his little, like... They changed the way he works, where his Silver Talon Senator, when he does damage, this guy gets bigger. And that's ridiculous. Now he's got his command tower in play. That was an automatic choice for this deck. For when I was designing a Shinhair deck of my own. Any aggro deck, really, command tower is going to be a staple. It's just got to be in there. It's half of an Anthem effect, and it's the good half, the front end. So I could play. Oh yeah. Do I want a cantrip here, or do I want to play this guy? I think I want to play this guy because he'll stop the incoming damage. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'll still get a flyer, so I'll go ahead and play this guy, and then pass turn. So what kind of decks are you going to play, Shad, when you get your beta key or alpha key?
I don't know. I built a black-white control, and then a red-white.
I can't get out of that habit either, you know. I can't. It took me so long. I had to like force myself to use the shard names. I still say black and white and green. I still use colors.
Yeah. Yeah, the Sapphire Ruby with the unblockable guy. I really wanted to use that, and then with the land destruction.
Oh yeah, that guy's gonna get nerfed. We're expecting that guy. Everyone at XCCG Pro is expecting that guy to get nerfed. At least take away his unblockable. Or take away the major gem socket, I think, because it's a major gem, right?
Yeah, that's what I was messing around with it in Excel today, where you know, in the analyst side on TCG browser, you can actually draw hands. And if you drag that image to Excel, it just pops right in, and you can play your own tabletop like that.
Oh man, he's got my flyer. That's too bad. Go ahead.
I was playing it like that, and I played it against another aggro deck I'd built, and it just destroyed it. It was pretty stupid.
Right.
And the land destruction was overbearing.
Right. Exactly. And I'm guessing you were playing the 4 Stone Rain, the obligatory 4 Stone Rain. In that type of deck.
Yeah, Demolition or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's basically Stone Rain.
Yeah, and I was just playing Ripple and Buccaneer, just bouncing everything you put out and getting rid of it, and then
okay, everybody in channel get ready.
And destroying it.
Because we're gonna say Thunderbird ho. Thunderbird ho. It's not supposed to, oh actually yeah, that's fine because his abilities on the stack. I can't remember. Yeah, his abilities on the stack. I shouldn't be able to cast him at instant speed, so that's something they need to fix. Oh, another Spectre. Okay, fine, I'll play another Spectre. Another Thunderbird, which I can't play this turn. Wow. So this looks decent in my favor right now. I can't really attack. I'd rather just stay on the defensive, let my ground guys defend. I guess I could attack with this guy, but I think I'd rather just hold on to him. So what are some of the decks you like to play in Magic, Shad?
Oh, I was a WoW TCG guy. I mean, I played a little bit of Magic, but I was more WoW.
Oh, okay. Simply should be moving to our channel, apparently. There he goes. I knew he could do it. What's going on, Simply?
Not much.
Cool, man. So
watching some people during today, seeing some interesting decks.
Yeah, I'm guessing mine's more vanilla of a deck than not really that interesting.
It's. I mean, even the ones that are like even like the simple Shinhair, the simple like mono blue. Some like even I still like the kind of differences in Hex, even if it's not like
Right.
super different than all the different card games. Even just like the simple stuff, it's got enough of a difference that you can kind of still. It's kind of new, even though it's similar archetypes. You know.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, actually, to prep for Hex, I had never really played the WoW TCG, and I was a big WoW player going back. I'm sorry to change the subject, but so what I did was I bought some kid's collection for $40. I got like, I don't know, 3,000 cards. And the reason why I did it is so I could experience. No, I'm not stuck. Oh, maybe I am stuck. Oh, I'm stuck. No.
It's one of the few reasons I'm like slightly glad that I'm not in yet, because that would
Well,
frustrate me,
this
especially
morning,
when you get really good combos off.
this morning I didn't have any problems. So, and I actually
Yeah,
have all that stuff.
Shaggy was rolling fine earlier today when he was playing. It only happened to him like once or twice.
Well, that's good.
And then he got into a couple like strings of them, but yeah, a couple people seem to get lucky, but I think everyone's still
Oops,
getting that
wrong
problem.
thing. I did the collection. It's so funny to see that.
1,200 cards.
Yeah.
Holy crap!
Yeah, I did the collection accidentally. I'm going to concede here.
I didn't even know. That's actually kind of cool that it actually simulates the deck size. I didn't even know
because they're
that.
physical objects. They use Unity, and so they're actually
Right.
objects in Unity, which is interesting.
Yeah, it allows them to basically pre-render them, so they don't have to do anything when they move them around. Yeah, I
Right.
think they were talking about it in one of the streams before.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
pretty
I've
cool.
actually, I really want to kind of start getting into the game industry. I'd really love to work for Cryptozoic, after I finish the job that I'm in right now, in the next 7 years. But, well, I'm at that point where like I can
I've
retire
done-
in 7 years.
Wait, seriously? That's actually pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'll retire from the current job I'm in at 38. I mean, I could go longer. It depends on what's going on. So, let's try this again.
You stop having babies.
Yeah, I'm really considering it. I actually need to talk to my dad about that to see how he felt after he had that done.
I've been dodging that like a
I'd
plague.
really rather not go into
Serious
exactly what I
talk.
do, Nebex. Let's just say that I'm in the cyber defense industry. We'll say that. This seems really good. I'm gonna
So,
keep this.
so transferring to. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to go
No,
over
go
here.
ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, so transferring to like, say, something with like maybe less like what's kind of nice about designing games, and I'm kind of going towards that, but I'm still pretty early on in like understanding programming. But what's kind of nice is you get to have the flexibility to do things that are like janky, or do things that don't really need to be exact. So you can kind of mess around with stuff, and then sometimes that actually makes the games better because
Right.
they create more organic feel. Because when you're creating like software for people, they need it to be, here's the thing I need, and I don't want any variation. But as kind of the climate right now with indie games and stuff, having
Please don't put me
variations
on
in
the
play
NSA
is
watch
just
list.
so cool.
I won't be putting you on any NSA watch lists, even if there was one.
Okay. Don't like severely beat you in games in the future.
But yeah, I'm actually studying on my own time too. I've got my C++ book right here for dummies. This guy. And yeah. Now it's debatable here. Yeah, I'll go ahead and play Thunderbird Threat. Thunderbirds, ho! But yeah, I'm studying C++ because that is the basis for C#, which is the main programming language that they use to program Hex with the Unity
Right.
engine. You can use that, or you can use JavaScript,
Yeah.
and JavaScript is icky, in my opinion.
I don't think it's that bad, but okay. It's got weird things.
It's got a lot of things
When I
that you
first
can do
was
that
messing around with
aren't
it.
exact, where it's like you can kind of do this and it still
Yeah.
works. It's sloppy to me. It doesn't yell at you as much.
I definitely agree with that. Yeah. It does a couple things automatically that make you have to program in a way that is uncomfortable. At least for me it is. Like I prefer to like specifically state certain things, because it'll try and do things and you have to like, okay, I'll just test it, and then it's like, why does that work? Why would
Right.
you want that to work that way?
Right.
And then you have to like read up on how to get it to force it to do stuff that C++ or C# and other stuff just do natively because they force
Right.
you to do it.
But you have to keep up with memory locations with C++ and C#.
Yeah.
Memory address.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't read up too much on how any of these languages were developed, but it seems like to create like a non-compiled or like the way it's run is that it just reads it and there's no compiling. It just reads it as it goes. Is that when they were building it, they just kind of assumed that would make more sense for it to do a lot of things automatically.
You know what happens when we assume.
But I don't know.
You know all about that, right? JK.
I'm so sorry.
This guy, hopefully I put out a good showing. I don't know, maybe he thinks I'm really good for some reason.
So how have you liked the non-socketed, what is it, the
Eldritch?
Eldritch guy?
Even with
Has he been
non-socket,
performing well?
3/3 can't be blocked. I mean, come on. It's amazing. For 4, it's really, in this format,
It's a
ridiculously
free
good.
lightning bolt every turn.
Yeah.
Right,
basically.
yeah.
And
No, I
can
mean, it's a
block
great
with it.
card even
I
without
can-
socket. I'm just...
I can block decently with this card. It's ridiculous. Yeah, he's going to deal lots of damage.
So
from
you-
here.
So you've been consistently being able to keep them from burning it? I mean, because obviously I think most people like the idea of doing I think there's two sockets that let you do on opponent hit effects, like it's like discard a card, and then the other one's destroy
LD,
like a resource or something.
Yeah, we were talking about that before you got in here. I ran a simulator on my computer earlier today and was playing it with that socket in there, running the demolition ability, or demolish ability, and was just completely destroying the other deck I could play against. I was running Time Ripple and Buccaneer and would bounce everything he played, and then destroy
Oh,
me.
nice.
Yeah, I believe somebody set up
and so
something
he's-
on like a Magic Workstation with a lot of the cards from the game too, didn't they?
Yeah, but I think it got shut down.
Well, Magic
Yeah, I said in
Workstation did.
chat. I don't know if you saw it, but I can't remember the. There's a open TCG thing similar to, I assume, Magic Workstation or so, and I think it's still up. I'd have to go check, but it's
Yeah.
basically like the Excel thing you were talking about. You have to do everything manually, but it makes it a little bit easier because you can see all the cards and you can move around.
I think it's Lackey. He's talking about it in there. That's the one.
Oh yeah, Lackey. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's the one.
So that's actually going to be my last game for the evening until I get my kids into bed. I may be on, I may not be on. Just so everyone knows, in that last play there, once he played that guy that has the 7, and then he can just draw cards, I have to burn that guy. Have to burn him, because once he gets down to 0, because it's for every dwarf and artifact he has in play, he can draw more cards at will. He can get it down to 0 and draw every card in his deck. So yeah, that situation cannot happen.
Well, it's a once per turn limiter on that card.
Oh really? But still,
Only activate once per turn.
I
yeah.
still he's
Yeah,
a
he's
must
drawing
kill.
2 cards a turn. It's still pretty brutal.
He's still a must kill for me. So I was actually about to burn that guy, if anybody was wondering. Beyond that, I did get some good games in this morning. You can check them out on my YouTube channel. I'm going to probably pipe one more out this tonight. They were completely finished games. You can see me get owned by a developer in the Shinhair. Beyond that, support Shaggy, myself. John should be playing as well. Hex CCG Pro. We'll be doing our Procast, of course, every Thursday at 8 o'clock Central Time. And then I of course, do my show at 8 o'clock on Fridays. And I will, if you send me deck lists, you can send them over my YouTube. I can deck doctor them for you, or try to do some things like we did tonight. I usually only do one per night. Beyond that, you're always welcome to use you guys are welcome to stay in my Ventrilo channel. You guys are welcome to use my Ventrilo channel to talk back and forth over some of the different procasts. Other casters are also welcome to use my Ventrilo. It has a 25-person limit, but everyone is welcome to use that if they're using it for Hex purposes. Other than that, thank you, gentlemen, for joining me in Hex. I enjoyed having some more voices to talk to while I was doing my cast tonight. And I think that's it for me. So God bless you and your children, and try not to rage out there too much.
Have a good night, Charles.
Yeah, thanks.